And you know we're mother and daughter. But
So
Kate's
my
daughter's
daughter's
here too.
Yeah, so she's third
That's the
generation.
three
Yeah.
generations, me, her and her daughter. And I've got two distant cousins who came here too.
It's fantastic to be here with Mum because, yeah, it's one of the things that we actually shared together, actually being at the same college.
She didn't go to my old school, but she came to my old college.
I suppose I grew up listening to stories of my mother having attended women's college, so it was very much a sense of living at college being very much part of the university experience. And I think also having grown up in Toowoomba and knowing that I would eventually have to leave home to go to university, coming somewhere like women's where I almost felt part of it before I even started here really made that transition very comfortable and easy.
And to think that both my daughters went here and a granddaughter, it's an issue of great pride.
When my daughter was thinking about coming to University of Queensland, it really felt that it would be remiss of me not to encourage her to come to college.
It was a pretty defining factor that Mum had been here, and it was something that we could share. Mum talks about sort of arriving at women's, and I remember having that sort of same experience and excitement and the possibilities of what the place was about. And, you know, I stayed here for 3 years. I've still got incredible friends that and those incredible memories. And yeah, it was all about, I think, did you say something about broadening horizons or something and widening your world? And I think that's absolutely true.
And interestingly, when my daughter came through and was shown through by two very enthusiastic girls, I couldn't thank them enough for selling the place to her, because that's what made her mind up to come here. But as we walked through each part of the college, and I said, "Oh, the smell, I remember that smell." And they looked at me like I was strange, but I'm sure in years to come they might come back and think the same thing. I certainly had a great experience, and I'd like to think that many generations to come will also have a good experience.
It was so Mum, then myself, then my sister, then my sister's eldest daughter Lucy, and then my daughter Sophie, who's the youngest of all the grandchildren. She always aspired to go to women's college, even though she lived in Brisbane. So remember when she visited Lucy, she was probably grade 11 and she's like, "Oh, I really want to go to women's college." And then she was an associate in her first year, and then she was a resident in her second year, and she just had that desire in her heart. I don't know if that whole tradition had occurred from Granny and then myself and Charlotte and then her daughter. So it really was a wonderful thing to be a part of, and to see my daughter to experience that and to really enjoy it to the full, which she definitely did.
I think there was no alternative in my mind. This is where they were going to come.
I think it's quite unique for our children to know that their grandmother understands what they're doing, and when they talk about the ball season, and when they talk about this function or what it's like to have assignments, their grandmother completely understands.
Or the regatta, or the rowing. You know,
as you grow older and you're involved in the alumni a bit more, it becomes more and more significant. And I would think, looking at our children and their secondary and tertiary studies, that a place like this is becoming more and more important in this digital world, because those personal connections and the experiences that you can be linked into here at the university are something that I think a lot of students are missing out of.
For me to come back to the campus and then to college and see everything the way it was and be able to put my own daughter in here, I'm so happy that we did it. It was the right call, and she suddenly landed. You know, she suddenly found a tribe. She felt like she was a part of things, and she's really maintained the friendships, and I'm so happy for her because they're gorgeous girls.
A good friend of mine from college who lives nearby still, she was there helping me move Christina in. And as we arrived at college, there were two other mothers that had been at college with me, and they were settling their daughters in. It was just amazing, and we couldn't believe there we were again.
It's so familiar, right? And those corridors, they're like limbs of a body as you walk through, you know where everyone is and how to find people. And, you know, of course, you want to be in filth to begin with because you're close to the food, so that always helps when you're at the munchies or you're running late in the morning.
Definitely feel the energy when I come back to the campus, and also my daughter came here as well. She was able to become the young woman she is today from the people that she met, the connection she made at the time.
We all have lifelong friends from our time, from very vastly different backgrounds. So we've all benefited greatly, I think, from our time here.
I remember phoning Mum saying that, you know, I'm getting ready for the Women's College Ball. And we then actually had a conversation about the fact that I was getting ready for the Women's College Ball in the same space that Mum had done before. So, and then Dad piped in. So that's where I met him. I took your mother to a ball.
He did actually.
He did.
There is that excitement every time that you kind of drive around and you enter the building, which is, you know, I don't think that'll ever go away.
It was just everything. Cut.